Hello, everyone. Welcome to Good Morning Tarot. Now, this is a general reading, so it's open to all zodiac signs. It is also timeless, so anytime you find yourself watching this video, there might be a message here for you. Now, try to see. Oftentimes, there are some things in our life that we need to give attention to. And so every day when we do our tarot reading, sometimes there are certain aspects that suddenly the tarot card would like us to give our attention to. So let's try to see what is the main energy for today, or the attention or the situation that our tarot card would like us to concentrate on. Okay, we have here the Seven of Swords. Okay, for some of you, today is the energy of reconciliation. Another thing is trying to take care of our relationships at this moment to try to see how we can improve on them. When we look at the Seven of Swords, the person is removing 5 of the 7 swords, and the remaining 2 swords are buried on the ground. So it's like if today is like a spring cleaning of our relationships. We try to see how we can improve on our relationships. Maybe the swords that the person is trying to remove at this time are those things that we sometimes, those dynamics that we sometimes practice with certain people in our life, especially those who are significant in our life, that somehow, instead of fostering closeness, somehow causes irritation, somehow causes friction. Okay, so there are certain things that we often do in our daily interaction with the people who are significant in our life that sometimes triggers discomfort in the relationship. Okay, so try to see how that resonates with you. Now, it seems that the energy of the card right now is telling us maybe we need to work on ourselves right now and get rid of those things that irritate the people who are significant in our life. Like, for example, if we have that habit of leaving our socks on the floor or leaving our dirty clothes on the floor, and it becomes a burden to our special someone because they have to clean up after us. Maybe this is the best time for us to remove that kind of habit, and instead, immediately, we put those things into the right places. That's one of those things that are little things that we often overlook, but they improve our relationship with others. Now, the 2 swords that are being buried, when you look at it, more swords are being taken away. And I think these are those things that causes little discomforts in our relationship, especially with those who are close to us. The swords that are buried, these are those things that maybe incidences or situations wherein we end up hurting ourselves and also our special someone or our loved ones. So what happens is it becomes buried into our subconscious mind. And these things, oftentimes we thought everything is okay already. We continue going through our life, but these hurts are buried in the hearts of the people we care for, and sometimes also buried in our hearts. Maybe we need to give attention to this also. Sometimes there are certain things that we fail to say, to apologize, and really express our willingness to change ourselves. Sometimes we don't mention it because we sometimes presume it's water under the bridge, but actually the pain still remains. Maybe today also is a day for us to give attention to those things, those hurt feelings that were not addressed in the past. Now that things are a little bit more peaceful, maybe right now is a good time for us also to heal ourselves and the people whom we've hurt. So maybe this is also a time for reconciliation, a time for inner healing. So I feel right now we need to take a moment of pause. We will not be able to attend through all these things if we are constantly busy attending to our daily affairs. this kind of dynamic needs a moment of pause in order to re-examine things, in order to, sometimes there is even a need to distance ourselves from the situation so that we can look at it more objectively. Now let's try to see how this will further unfold. Okay, we have here the Queen of Swords. The Queen of Swords is extending her left hand, wherein there is the widow's bracelet. So it is a hand of compassion, because they too have experienced how it is to have lost someone or to be hurt. So they are extending a hand of compassion, but at the same time, the right hand is holding a sword. So I feel the invitation for you is to attain a certain balance in your life, wherein you are compassionate to the people that you deal with, but at the same time you have good boundaries. So you are also compassionate to yourself. As you care for others, don't forget to care for yourselves. Attain a certain balance and allow yourself to undergo transformation, because the more we undergo transformation, the more we are able to handle the little swords in our daily life. The more we are able to bury the hatchets or bury the swords and remove those little swords that sometimes bring difficulty to our relationship. So we need to balance between charity to others and charity to ourselves. The angels can help us. Our inner world can help us. We need to be docile to it. When you look at the clouds, it's already beginning to settle. Half of the sky is already cleared. So in a certain sense, whatever crisis some of you might have had in the past, it's starting to clear now. So maybe it's also a good time for us to address those little things that have caused some difficulty in our relationships. Now let's try to see what is the advice of the universe for us. Again, here we have the King of Cups. The King of Cups is somebody who handles with his emotions, with his relationships, with maturity. You see here, he's holding the scepter in the left hand and he's holding the cup on his right hand. He is able to balance between thinking logically and listening to his heart. He's also very intuitive. He's listening to the fish that is dancing in the water. So in a certain sense, there is a need for you to listen to your intuition so that you will be able to navigate the seas better, like the ship behind him. In fact, the throne of the King of Cups is also like a boat in the sea. So you will be able to navigate safely through the sea of our life's relationships if we are able to balance between the mind and the heart. Because if it's all heart, then sometimes we are taken advantage of or we are misled by the emotion. Sometimes we judge things just by the heart, and sometimes our logical mind is telling us certain things that we sometimes overlook if we rely too much on the heart. But if we rely too much on the mind also, sometimes we end up hurting people because we are not also listening with the heart. So we need to balance between the mind and the heart so that we can also balance between being compassionate to others and being compassionate to ourselves. So this is what we have for our tarot reading. Let us now go to the self-care tip. For our self-care tip, the message comes from Mia Farrow, and the message is, a person without regrets is a nincompoop. It's true. If we do not have any regrets, we're like a foolish person. It's normal for us to commit mistakes along the way. And so we accept that reality. We need to accept that reality, that we will always commit a mistake along the way. But the mistakes we commit often teach us new lessons about life. And oftentimes when we commit a mistake, if we are very conscientious about it, if we listen to the situation that has just occurred because of the mistakes we have committed, oftentimes we are able to find ways to avoid committing the same mistakes. And I think that is the important thing. If you feel regret, accept that reality. I feel sorry for what I have done. I feel sorry I made this decision. You need to recognize that feeling of regret. You need to recognize that. And then we need to add something afterwards, and that is, I wish I can undo it. I wish I could not have done it, but it's already done and over with. I cannot undo it anymore. But I can resolve to begin again. I can take with me all the lessons that I've learned and begin again. And as we begin again, we try to be better. Now, whatever it is that we have committed, the regret turns into possibilities. If we accept it as it is, we committed a mistake or we committed a wrong choice, and then we accept that we cannot change it anymore. It's already part of our life's history, but we take with us the lesson and then we move forward. When we do that, then we grow. Then we become wiser from the experience. That's why when we look at the tarot reading, it is related with regards to the Seven of Swords. The Seven of Swords shows a person who has been a veteran with dealing with people. So before the confrontation, he already removes the sword. And the other swords he buries so that it will not be used anymore for conflict. Or maybe the buried swords, it could be also that the other swords that he is carrying are also swords that were buried. These are the pains that have been caused in the past interactions, and now he is trying to heal all those things. Now, what remains are two buried swords, so it can be also that way. Now, the important thing here is the person accepts that there are swords. There have been some pain along the way, but you can either choose to let it be or let it remain there, buried in your heart, or you can proactively remove it. You can proactively address it so that it will not cause you any more pain. And sooner or later, you will have the maturity of the Queen of Swords, who is able to maintain compassion to others and also compassion to herself. And just like the King of Cups, who, when he makes a decision, he is able to balance the use of his logical mind and also his intuition. So they accept the reality that we will always commit mistakes. The important thing is we learn from that mistakes and we continue. When we also accept the reality that we will always commit mistakes along the way, especially when we are starting something new, then we are not afraid to open new chapters in our life. We go there, we enjoy the experience of learning new things, committing mistakes, and from those mistakes we learn new things, and then we move forward. We are proactively interacting with our life experiences. So in a certain sense, don't be afraid to commit mistakes. And if you start to regret the mistakes you did, accept it. Okay, I feel I made a mistake and I am sorry about it. What lesson can I learn? And I resolve to begin again. I may not be able to undo it. If I can undo it, I will do my best. But if I cannot anymore, I entrust it to the divine. And from that, I take the lessons I've learned and I continue to move forward. So somehow, this is what we have for our self-care tip. I hope that you were able to gain some insights from it. And thank you for the likes and comments you've given to the channel. Thank you for subscribing. I hope to see you again soon. Until that time, may God continue to bless your ways.